Magic is the moonlight on this lover's June night as I see the moonlight shining in
ヤングガンガン読者の皆様、はじめまして、出口亜梨沙です。今日は、千葉県の九十九里に来ています。今からね、海とかで撮影に行ってくるので頑張ってきます。バイバーイ。
皆様こんにちは。はじめまして、白田純です。この度新たに YouTube チャンネルを開設することになりました。そして今日が記念すべき第1回目の放送配信となっております。ということで、この番組の内容なんですけれども、皆さん竜を信じますか？ドラゴンを信じますか？実はですね、この1年間の間に全く関係のない、つながりのない人たちから竜について僕にね、話をしてくれた人たちがもう偶然にも続いておりまして、ただ竜の話を僕にしたのではなくて、一人の方は純さんの背中に竜を感じます、清竜を感じます。竜を感じる？僕の背中に？どういうこと？みたいな。これ本当なんですよ。本当なんです。で、その本当直後だったかもしれないですね、あれはね。結構その後は、僕にこの宝石、このタンザナイトというこの青い宝石をね、僕にプレゼントしてくれた方がいるんですけど、この宝石を僕にプレゼントしてくれた時に、ジュンさん、この宝石を持って日本に眠る竜を起こしてきてください。起こす？眠ってるんですか？封印されてるっていうこと？どういうことみたいな。これ本当なんですよ。そして最近はジュンなんか顔が竜みたいだね言われるようになったりですね。これ本当に冗談抜きで、37年間生きてきて、もちろん竜についてそんな話を、されたこともないし、僕にその竜がついてるとか、竜を目覚めさせてきてくださいとか、竜に似てるねっていやー、もう僕なんか気になっちゃって竜という存在がね、いろいろ調べたんですけど、その竜ってまずそもそも皆さん何だと思いますか？神様なのか、昔いた、今はいなくなってしまった、昔はいたなんか伝説の動物的な、もしくはこう人間が描いた空想のこう神話的な存在なのか、別次元にいる生きてる存在なのか、何なのか、もう気になってもう調べても答えにはたどり着かないんですけど、
まずはなんか本に紙としてこう本になった時にすごく感動しました。もともと5月に発売する予定だったのが5ヶ月遅れて10月となったので、その空白期間のことがすごく自分自身も不安だったので、こう本になったことがすごく嬉しかったですし、いろんな自分がそこにたくさんあって、全128ページ、自分しかいないことにすごい不思議な感覚を抱きました。
渋谷で不思議の国の豆山田というタイトルで映画とそれからティガと両方やります。見に来てくださいね。映画は、アリスの落ちた穴の中、ティム・バートンのアリスを向こうを張ってやりますので、ティム・バートンには負けないと
皆さんこんにちは。東京オートサロン2022イメージガール A クラスの黒木麗奈です。東京オートサロンに向けて意気込みは、今回はリアル開催ということで、ファンの皆さんやお客様が今年は来てよかったなって思ってもらえるように、私たち A クラスも頑張っていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。
こんにちは、中井です。僕これ 初めてですか？動画に出てくるの初めてですか？はじめまして、中井です。なんだ、ちょっとね、こんな時期ですし、決して、いいとは言えないタイミングなんですけど、急遽なんかこのような急遽だとはいえもちろん自分の判断で撮っていただいてますがね、今はもう本当東京も日本も世界中も大変な時期でなんかちょっと僕自身もどうしようかななんてこうね、やっぱご挨拶したいんだけどもちょっと不謹慎かななんて、思いながらそんな不謹慎だと認識しながら判断させて、もらいました。ありがとうございました。ぐらいなんです。はい。ね、うちの会社だけに限らず芸能界も普通の OL さんもサラリーマンの人もおじいちゃんもおばあちゃんも子供もお母さんもお父さんみんななんか大変な思いをしている時期なので本当静かにと思ったんですけど本当にお礼だけです。どうもありがとうございました。それじゃあまたじゃあね。
こんにちは、北山しおりです。今回趣味のカメラを持って茨城県の魅力をご紹介する、北山しおりの旅写真フォトリップ。私は茨城県出身で写真もすごい大好きなんで実際に撮影しながらいろいろ回ってで今回撮影する写真や衣装なども毎回変わるのでその辺もお楽しみにしてください。見てください。
大平修蔵です。この度はこのような賞をいただけたこと本当に光栄に思っております。ありがとうございます。僕が TikTok、俳優、DJ、モデルを始めてから約2年間世界中の方々と、SNS を通じてつながることができました。そして先ほど編集長もおっしゃっていたグローバルSNS って地球の裏側の方ともつながるのが一瞬で僕はその地球の裏側の人たちに向けて、愛だったり幸せだったり笑顔だったりを届ける活動を自分なりに考えて、活動してきました。この賞を受賞できたことによってそれが少しでも、報われたかなというふうに感じております。これから、この賞を受賞できたことによってまた一つ、僕の背中を押していただけたような感じがしています。これからもどうぞよろしくお願いします。
今日は大阪チャンス撮影会ありがとうございました。佐藤望美です。今年入って初の大阪チャンス撮影会さんだったんですけど久しぶりにみんなとのんびりお話ししたり撮影してもらったりできてとても楽しかったです。また、次は多分再来月あたりになっちゃうと思うんですけどチャンスさんに、来たいと思いますのでその時はよろしくお願いします。私は SNS をインスタとあと Twitter この2つをやってるので佐藤のぞみで検索してもらえたら告知事項とかいっぱい載せてるのでぜひチェックよろしくお願いします。今日はありがとうございました。オリコンニュースをご覧の皆さんこんにちは、りのです。私は今女優としての活動を目標に日々活動させていただいてます。8月から始まる虹と狼には騙されないに出演します。私は今年の夏を一生忘れられないほどの幸せな青春にしたいです。
写真自体が実はその本格的に始めようって思ったのが最近でして、っていうのもその2018年からこう世界を巡る番組のレギュラー番組をやらせていただきまして、本当にその時にこう世界の美しい景色を見て、もうこれを残せないっていうのは非常にもったいないなっていうのを思い始めまして、それからカメラを本格的に始めたいと思って、でそれからは本当にもういろんなところ行っては被写体を見つけて写真を撮ったりとか、散歩をしながら、写真撮ったりとか、そういうのも増えてきましたね。
WWS チャンネルをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは、桜田真央です。審査員特別賞に選んでいただきました。いや本当に緊張してもう初めに呼ばれたのでちょっとガクガクしながら壇上に上がったんですけど、そうですね、本当に発表を聞いた時は嬉しくって泣きながらママに伝えました。なんかやっぱりファンの方の応援があってこその賞だと思っているんですけど、審査員特別賞グランプリを狙っていたってずっと言っていたので、ファンの皆様に納得していただけたかなとちょっと心配なのですが、私は自分的には大満足というかありがたいです。本当になんかもうこの人生の中で一番もう長く感じた2週間で、本当に私の今まで経験したことがないファンの皆さんの温かさとか、家族の応援とかもあったので、本当にみんなに感謝して2週間を終えた2週間後の自分は結構抜け殻みたいになっていて、発表まで本当に抜け殻状態だったんですけど、いい結果をいただけて嬉しいです。自分の中で自信になった部分っていうのはすごい大きくあって、人前で話すときに少し緊張しなくなったりとか、そうですね、あとは友達に言えてなかったんですけど、投票期間中というかは言えてなかったんですけど、もう自信を持ってミスマガに出てたんだよっていう風に友達に言えたりとか、自分はこういうことやりたいんだよっていうのを伝えられたのが成長かなっていう風に思います。将来の夢は本当に好奇心が旺盛なので、いろんなことに挑戦したくって、でも最終的な目標は、自分のファンの皆さんとボランティア活動をすることなので、そうなれるようにもっともっと有名になっていきたいと思っています。はいボランティアがちょっと、大学3年生の夏にスリランカにボランティアに行ったんですけど、その時の経験が自分の中でも大きかったかなっていうふうに思うので、みんなにボランティアの活動を知ってもらえるような活動とかをしていきたいと思っています。私はそうですね、好きな人とか家族とかにご飯を作りたがる習性があるので、友達とかにもよくご飯を作るんですけど、みんなをうちに招いてご飯を作ってみんなでパーティーしたいです。応援してくれたファンの皆様、知り合いの方々、本当にありがとうございます。今私は審査員特別賞をいただくことができました。みんなが本当に応援してくれて、私は本当に不安がいっぱいな2週間だったんですけど、皆さんがいてくれたから自信が持てたし、皆さんのおかげで成長できたかなというふうに思います。いや、まだまだ成長していくので、ぜひ見ててください。お願いします。
僕のことを俳優さんだと思ってる人もいるし、芸人だと思ってる人もいるし、正直別にどっちでもいいっちゃどっちでもいいんですけど、無駄な人はいないって思って最近は仕事してますけどね。そういうとくと好感度上がるじゃないですか
皆さんこんにちは、氷川あやむです。今日は来てくださってありがとうございました。来月もきっと来ると思うので遊びに来てくれたら嬉しいです。あとこれ見てくれた方で来たことない方もぜひ遊びに来てください。じゃあねー。
皆さんこんにちは、朝日奈々美です。今日はヤングマガジンさんの撮影で千葉に来てます。可愛いスタジオでテンションマックスです。じゃあね頑張ってきます。
はい、シネマ1で冬川あざみ役として出演させていただいたんですけど、本当になんかすごいたくさんの方に見ていただけたみたいで、なんか自分でも動画見てる時に広告に自分が出てきたりだとか、なんかいろんな人にも見たよっていうお声をすごくいただけて、はい、自分の中でも思い出に残る作品になりました。ありがとうございます。本当にこういう機会くださって。
イベントデータバンクをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは、古田絵里です。初めてのカレンダーを出します。皆さんぜひチェックしてみてください。以上、古田絵里でした。
実際に自分が使っていたレビューさんに取材していただいて、また自分がオーディションにたくさん応募していた時を思い出したりして、すごい初心にまた戻れたような気もします。まだスタート地点に立てたかな立ててないかなぐらいなんで、応援してくださる方にいい報告ができるように一生懸命頑張りたいと思います。
アイドル日本をご覧の皆さん、こんにちは、吉田理央です。今私は DVD の撮影で静岡に来ています。綺麗な海です。今回初めての DVD 撮影で、そしてあと初めてうなぎを食べました。とても美味しかったです。魚は食べれないんですけど、うなぎは食べれるみたいです。ありがとうございます。あと初めての滝を見たり、あと大好きな海で、撮影をしたり、そして釣りもできてとても嬉しかったですし、ぜひ釣りをしてるところの私を見てくれたら嬉しいなって思います。たくさんぜひ私の、DVD を見てください。以上、吉田理央でした。
そうですね、まだそんなに実感は湧かないんですけど、特にこれが変わったって大きいこともないんですけど、お酒は飲みました。
こんにちは、福田ルミカです。今宮古島に撮影に来ているんですけど、友達を見つけました。宮古島のまもるくんです。イエイ。これから撮影頑張っていこうと思います。バイバイ。
イエローキャムの元気印、土上ひかるです。本日は、個人撮影会マンワクありがとうございます。毎回来たたびにマンワク本当に嬉しいです。また、大阪チャンス遊びに来るので皆さん会いに来てください。またね。
リングが終わったところです。そして西本ひかるが YouTube を開設しました。イエーイイエーイイエーイ。なんかいろいろ多分ここにまだ出たりとかする編集はできないんですけど、これから頑張るので投稿いっぱいするので、よかったらフォローといいねとコメント待ってます。よろしくお願いします。バイバイ。
今年1年は受験生ということで受験勉強と、あとまた芸能活動を始めたので、結構慌ただしかったのかなって思っています。これからもっと芸能活動を積極的にできたらなと思っています。
ちょっとセクシーに決めたいなって思って、でもセクシープラス可愛い要素も見たかったので、ちょっとフリフリの私の服でなんか淡い感じの綺麗な格好にしてみました。喋っているとキャラが強いって言われることが多くて、なんか私がバーッとよく喋っちゃうことが多いんですけど、そうするとチンハルワールドだねって言われることもすごい多くて、これを見た人が私の世界に染まってほしいっていう思いもあって、チンハルワールドです。たくさんいろんな水着を着させていただいたんですけども、カメラに向かってたくさんセリフをかけたりとかしてて、私とデートしてるような気分になれる、そんな DVD になってるんじゃないかなと思っております。一緒にスポーツをしてるところだったりとか、ちょっとお部屋でベッドのシーンがあったりとか、お風呂のシーンがあったりとか、この紫の水着を着てる時は結構元気 般の表情よりもクールだったりとかちょっとセクシーな感じの表情をたくさん詰め込んでみたのでいつもとは違う私を見れるんじゃないかなと思っております。最後は白いレース脱いでいってって感じなんですけど笑顔っていうよりもセクシーな感じで決めていました。これを見たらみんな笑顔になれると思います。なんか動画の離距離みたいな例えば天城純ちゃんとか長澤まりなちゃんとかがすごいちょうどこうぐっと流行っている時期だったんですけどその時にすごい動画の離距離でなんかすごい素敵な魅力あるんだなってそこから私もグラビアに興味を持ちでいろいろチェックさせていただいたりしていつか自分もできればいいなと思ってて今ちょうどこうやってチャンスをいただいたので今このタイミングでグラビアができてちょっと私もなんか身長はすごく小さかったり、最近動画ってあんま言われなくなったんですけどでもこうちっちゃくてそういうなんかこう胸とかも武器にできればいいなと思って声優さんでもこうやってグラビアができてっていうのもポイントというかまた新たな時代を切り開ければいいなと思っております。グラドル声優みたいな枠とかもまたちょっとできたらいいなって思ってます。今回は私が好きなデコレーションなんかデコるのがすごく好きでケーキのデコレーションとか自分の好きなことを詰め込んでいただいたりしてで笑顔いっぱいで楽しい感じの設定していただいたんですけどそうだななんか次出したいとしたら新たな自分を見せれるように大人な私を見せられたらいいなってまた思ってます。今決まってるのはですね2月にアドリブ舞台カチプリ学園という舞台に出演させていただくことが決まっています。あとは3月に D4DJ ハッピーアラウンドの、ライブがワンマンライブがありますのでぜひ皆さんそちらの方もチェックしていただけると嬉しいです。みんな見てくれないとデコっちゃうぞ。
マイラジ TV をご覧の皆さんこんにちは、園田愛香です。今日は編集部に遊びに来ました。1月25日発売週刊プレイボーイさんにグラビアとして登場します。イエーイ。私のですね18歳の等身大の私が出演していますので皆さんぜひご覧ください。私の初主演を務めさせていただくスマイルっていう短編映画が今年の春公開予定されてます。ぜひそちらの方もご覧ください。それではセリフを書いていきたいと思います。シュシュシュって、4月今日は22じゃん書きました。園田愛香です。
今日が発売してから3日ぐらい経ったんですけどまだ実感がないというか雪の影響でまだみんなご自宅に届いてなかったりとか本屋さんに置かれてなかったりとかもいろいろあったのでちょっとなんていうんですかねまだ実感が湧いてないというか早く皆さんに届けたいなっていう気持ちが今は一番あります。でも嬉しいです。ロケは広島県の尾道とあと私の生まれ故郷の愛媛県に行かせていただきます。
ミスマガジン2021ベスト16に選ばれました大島里奈です。20歳です。チャームポイントは顔面です結構両親同士が似ていて私もその両親の顔に似ているというのが自分のチャームポイント嬉しい点でもあるのでチャームポイントです。あとは、前髪を流すか下ろすかで結構印象変わったりとかするので髪型で変わる顔面がチャームポイントです。はい特技は着物の着付けと水泳です。はい、 着物の着付けは、大会に出場して全国大会まで進みました。で水泳は小さい頃選手コースで毎日泳いでいたので泳ぎは自信あります。着物の着付けは高校生入ってからぐらいなんですけど、水泳は本当に3歳とか4歳の頃から始めてて、はい、ずっと泳いでました、小さい頃。はい、今は、自分でちょっと泳ぎに行く程度なんですけれども、泳げます。はい、着物の着付けは個人的に習い事としてやってました。なんか結構地元群馬県なんですけど、着物のファッションショーに出していただく機会が多くて、その時からなんか自分で着れるようになりたいなと思って習い始めました。はい、グランプリに選ばれたらバンジージャンプに挑戦してみたいです。なんか結構王道かもしれないんですけど、やってみたいなって思いました。バラエティも挑戦してみたいなと思います。はい、将来の夢は女優さんになることです。小さい頃から映画とか舞台が大好きで、主に映画で活躍する女優さんになりたいんですけれども、もちろんドラマとか映画とか幅広く活躍できる女優さんになりたいです。憧れの女優さんは二階堂ふみさんです。はい、事務所も同じなんですけれども、ずっと憧れの先輩です。
アービング所属黒沢ゆりか28歳です。男の人を見るよりも馬を見ることの方が得意です。競馬とかで意外に当てちゃってます。はいそしてそんな私が今日ご紹介するタレはじゃじゃん、茅野屋さんのですね、白ごまタレプラス梅七味にラー油というコラボレーションのタレをご紹介したいと思います。これではですね、じゃあ早速ちょっとブレンドしたいと思うんですけど、今回はですね、この白ごまの中にラー油を入れまして、梅しそも入れます。で、混ぜたいと思います。つけてテレビ東京でタレの全国タレ総選挙をやっています。皆さんぜひ投票してください。
まず麻雀の知識がゼロだったんですよ。だからやっぱ主演で映像で主演ってすごい嬉しかったんですけど、でもやっぱり麻雀知識がゼロすぎて、もう不安の方が結構、不安とか緊張とかプレッシャーとかの方がやっぱ嬉しさよりも勝ってしまいました。はい、もうその期間は本当に夢の中でもずっと麻雀のこと考えてるし、逆に不眠症になったりとかして、もうなんか不安すぎて主演っていうのが結構自分にとっては結構なんか重大なことすぎて全然寝れなくなったんですけど、でもやっぱりそのセリフとか、あとは結構なんか自分が知識があるとやっぱセリフもすごいすんなり入ってきやすいし、ストーリー性も分かるじゃないですか。だからやっぱすごいずっと撮影のことも考えてるし、麻雀のことも考えてて、やっぱなんか練習した時に自分が上がれた時とかに自信がついて、あ、これ本番もいけるなみたいな感じで乗り越えました。
タレントデータバンクをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは、児玉遥です。映画「あだ桜テアトル新宿」にて10月29日より公開となります。皆様ぜひ足を運んでいただけたら嬉しいです。お願いします。以上、児玉遥でした。バイバイ。
今回このミルク&ハニーっていうデジタル写真集を秋くらいに撮って、でちょっと寒いかなってちょっとマネージャーさんと話していたんですけど、撮影の当日めちゃくちゃ晴れて、すっごい暖かくて、なんか外での撮影と中での撮影どっちもあったんですけど、本当にすごい晴れたおかげで窓もすごい大きかったので、すごいたくさん光が入ってとても心地いい撮影でした。で今回グラビアの撮影ってなると結構なんていうんですかね、知ってるカメラマンさんとか前回も一緒だったって方って結構いるんですけど、今回初めて喜びさんっていうカメラマンさんに撮影していただいたんですけれども、 こう初めましてだったので、私すごいいつも緊張しちゃうんですね、初めましてが。なのでなんか最初のぎこちなさというかそういうのも少しあったんですけど、だんだん楽しくなってきて、すごい皆様優しかったので、すごい楽しい撮影になりました。で今回はちょっと私のお気に入りの写真を何枚か選んだので紹介していきたいと思います。1枚目こちらです。これはちょっと黄緑色っていうんですかね、淡い色のランジェリーなのかななんですけど、なんか私結構桜子ちゃんは黒とか紺とかが似合うって言われることが多かったんですけど、私は結構淡い色もすごい好きでパステルカラーが好きなので、ちょっとこの衣装を見た時にめっちゃ可愛いと思って、これ着たいってなって、そうなのでこの衣装がすごい好きなのと、この写真を選んだ理由がさっきもちょっと言ったんですけど、最初の方って私いつも緊張しちゃって、ちょっとこれ1着目だったんですけど、ぎこちなさが最初あったんですけど、なんか喜びさんがすごい連写をしてくれるんですね。で私がすごい連写しますねって話したら、いい瞬間を逃したくないからっておっしゃっていて、その会話をしているうちにちょっと和んでというか、ちょっと緊張がほどけた瞬間の写真がこちらです。2枚目がこちらです。これはレオタードなんですけど、私グラビアの撮影でというか人生で初めてレオタードを着て、なんかレオタードってちょっとなんていうんですかね、私のイメージはバレエやとか新体操とか、なんか背の高くてなんか私にはあんま届かない、着ないような衣装だなと思ってたんですけど、なんかここまでがっつりと鎖骨とか背中が出てる衣装ってやっぱりよりボディラインがすごい綺麗に見えますし、色も込んだっていうのもあるので、ちょっとキュッと引き締まって見えるというのもあって、なんかいいかもと思って、すごい可愛いなと思って選びました。で私お気に入りすぎて、このレオタードの時のカットを1枚自分の SNS のトップ画にもさせていただいてます。それくらいお気に入りです。で3枚目がこちらです。これを選んだ理由は、すごい簡単に言うと表情が好きだからっていうだけなんですけど、なんかグラビアの撮影をするとどうしてもやっぱり体をきれいに見せないといけないっていう意識が強すぎて、顔がこわばりがちというか力が入っちゃうっていうことが多いんですけど、その中でも特に寄って撮っていただくときは逆に体のことを意識せずに顔というかリラックスした表情とかいい写真を撮りたいっていう意識が強くなるので、なんかうまくなんていうんですかね、寄ってもらうとすごいいい表情ができる気が自分はしていて、その時に喜びさんがちょっとそのまま寄りたいって言ってちょっと近づいてきてくださって、ずっとこれもまた連写なんですけどしてくださって、私的にこの表情がすごい好きだなと思って選びました。私の目線の先にずっとシャインマスカットが置いてあったんですね。でも私撮影中はあんまり食べないっていう意識をしてたので、シャインマスカットがある、このカットが終わったら食べようっていうことを考えてましたハンターの目してましたね他にも私の好きな写真があるので、ちょっとおまけでお見せしたいと思います。こちらです。これが一番最後の衣装だったんですけど、緊張感がほどけてきてちょっと楽しくなってきて、おしゃべりしながら撮っていったりもしてて、今日最後だと思ってちょっと楽しんじゃおうと思って、たまたまその辺にあった水鉄砲を拾って遊んだりしてて、どんどん撮影に来てる私というよりかは、なんか本当に単純に楽しんでる、リラックスしてる私、この今選んだカットがちょっと素の私に近いこの表情というか力の抜けた感じが私は好きだなと思って選びました。そうなんです。私約2年ぶりくらいにシュープレさんでまたお仕事をさせていただいたんですけど、髪の毛切ってもう半年くらい経つんですけど、このシュープレさんでのショートカットで出していただいたの初めてだったので、なんかロングもロングで好きだったんですけど、ショートにしたことによってより顔がはっきりと見えるというか、なんですかね、 あとよく言われるのはちょっと大人っぽくなったように見えるとかも言ってもらえるので、なんかショートにして本当に良かったなって思います。なんかまた全然変わりますよね。ロングのグラビアとショートのグラビアって全然イメージも変わるので、ちょっとパッと明るくなったのかなって思います。逆にショートにして思ったのは、輪郭とか体とかも全部はっきりとしっかり見えるなっていうのもあって、ちょっと短い分なんかすごい明るくなったように、表情も明るくなったように見えるなって思いました。表情はめちゃくちゃ意識はしますね。なんかなるべく力が入らないようにとか、なるべく決めないようにというか、なるべく顔の筋肉を殺すというかなんかリラックスした状態ってでもやっぱり難しいんですね。そのカメラマンさんがこれぐらいの距離にいて、ヘアメイクさんも衣装さんも近くにいて、でこう周りに人がいる状況ってどうしてもやっぱ緊張しちゃうし、なんか顔も私固まりがちなんですけど、そこをどんどん壊していこうと思って、でグラビアの仕事だとそういうのをすごいたくさん経験させてもらえるので、こんな至近距離に人がいてもなんかまるで人がいないかのような表情をできるようになりたいなっていうのをどんどん研究し続けています。なんかこの表紙もすごいちょっとおしゃれですよね。本当に海外の雑誌っぽい感じでポップな感じの表紙で、なんかまた今までとは違う私が見れる写真集なのかなって思います。いかがだったでしょうか。今回紹介した4枚の写真の他にも本当にたくさんいい写真が今回のミルク&ハニーにたくさん積み込まれているので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。感想なども教えてください。じゃあね。
こんにちは、大和田奈々です。今日は私のデートに行く日のバッグの中身を紹介したいと思います。私のデートに行く時のバッグ、これです。シーンで買った800円ぐらいのバッグです。デートでもこれめっちゃ使いやすくていっぱい入るからめちゃくちゃ使ってます。あと安いからガシガシ使えて良いです。紹介します。まず一つ目、じゃーん。これは2年前ぐらいのスタバのバレンタインの時に買ったタンブラーです。これは基本的に私は左右かお茶のティーパックを入れて持ち歩きます。高いの飲みたいので。なんかペットボトルだとすぐ冷めるからこういうのを持ってると良いです。次、じゃーん。イヤホン。これは誕生日プレゼントでもらったボッテガのイヤホンケース。ありがとう。どうもありがとう。ありがとう。てか見て可愛くない？コトトロ。暇だったからゲーセンに寄った時に会って、このコトトロとジジをゲットしました。ピンバッジ。かわいい。そして次は、じゃん。これはめちゃくちゃ最近買ったモバイル充電器。携帯の後ろにペタってくっつけれるタイプのやつ。こうやって。これがめっちゃ楽だな。コードレスの方が楽だなと思ってにしました。カラーは、最近はピンクとかよりこういうブラウン系を選ぶことが多いので、これにしました。じゃあいいこれ。1.5 回分ぐらい充電できる。あと、これ、携帯ね。携帯今はケースつけてないんですけど、ちょっと探してます。かわいいの。iPhone12 って英語でなんていうの？ 12 Pro です。じゃーん！オルメルの巾着。これはファンの方からいただきました。ありがとうございます。私はバッグの中基本ポーチとかじゃなくて巾着でまとめて入れることが多いんですけど、これはちょっと大きめだからね。他にも物が少なめの時はこのおばあちゃんが作ってくれたポーチとかにもね、入れることもあるんですけど、こういう大きいバッグの時はこれ使ってます。ありがとう。この中は薬、常備薬とリップ。これは保湿タイプの何の色もついてないシャネルの。これもファンの方にいただきました。めっちゃいい。これと適当に毎日リップ入れてます。今日はカラーキー P713 番が入ってました。あと香水も入ってます。香水はザラで適当に買ったやつなんだけど、ガーデニアっていう匂いのやつ。02番。これね、甘くていい匂いなんですよ。このロールオンタイプの方が持ち歩きがしやすいから私はこれを持ち歩いてます。お家でつけるときは普通の大きいサイズのやつ使ってます。あとはハンドクリーム。ハンドクリームはルクシタンのローズ。このサイズがね、持ち運びやすいのでいつも入ってます。あといい香り。あとはネイルオイルと、あとこれは知り合いの方からいただいたシャネルのミラーです。こ れめっちゃ使いやすくていつも入ってます。あとお財布はいつもお世話になってる写真集とかね担当してくれた方からいただきました。ありがとうございます。お誕生日にもらいました。可愛いフェンディのピンクの財布。あとは、じゃーん！ペンケース。これもおばあちゃんが作ってくれたものなんですけど、2、3本だけ入るペンケースが欲しいから作って送ってって言ったら、1週間ぐらいで届きました。可愛い。パチってなってて、すごくない？ここにペンを入れて持ち歩いてます。一緒にね、巾着とかも届けてくれたので使いたいと思います。ラストは鍵。じゃーん。鍵にも、コトトロがついてるの。かわいい。これもね、暇な時に、ゲーセンに行った時にあったから、なんかジブリのさ、グッズってあんま見なくない？ね。
見ない、ゲーセンでね。
そう、だから嬉しくなっちゃってちょっとやっちゃいました。そしたら取れた。300円しかないから300円だけやろうと思ったら、そんな感じで、私のバッグの中身紹介でした。皆さん、今日も見ていただいてありがとうございました。またねー。
本日も休診、茶畑純正役の笹野高史でございます。二の足を踏むとかさ、大概一瞬と考えるとかっていうことは、どんなお仕事でもあるんですけど、これはもうなんか何の抵抗もなくむしろやらしてっていうぐらいなんか嬉しかったですね。江本さんといい、佐藤 B 作さんといいね、いい同級生の俳優を僕は持ってるなと思って幸せだと思いますよ。あんな刺激的な俳優さんたち、そういう中からなんかみんなが知恵持ち合って面白いものがなんかひょっとしたらできちゃうんじゃないかなっていう予感がしますね。不勉強にも読んでなかったんで手に入れて読んでみたらば、いやいっぺんに引きずり込まれましたね、あの世界に。いやー面白いですね。憧れますね、あの世界ね。当時70年代っていうと今から30年40年ほど前、30年50年前50年も前。昔はさ、もっと情のあるおまわりさんがいっぱいいたんだよね。東京でも。田舎行けばもっといたでしょうねえ。こらって言うんだよ、おまわりさん当時は。こら何それだ、こらって言うんですよ。こらって言おうセリフにこらっていうおまわりさんできるかもしれないな。こういうおまわりさん言ってくれよっていうようなおまわりさんなんかやってみたいなと思いますね。情のあるおまわりさんね。本日も休診明治座でお待ちしております。
ちなみに、私スピリチュアル能力、なんか霊感とかね、なんか感じたりとか、それこそ竜が見えるようなことは、お化けを見たりとかね、妖怪を見たりとか、そういったことは今まで一切ありません。でスピリチュアル能力も一切、この手のマークがスピリチュアル能力か分かんないですけどありません。ただ信じるか信じないかと聞かれたら信じたいです。そのスピリチュアル的なことですね。ファンタジーとか、僕小さい時からファンタジーがすごい好きで、ネバーエンディングストーリーとかもう本当にテープがすり減るぐらい見てて、それこそ竜が出てきますよね。ファルコンね、背中に乗って最後空を飛ぶシーンがあるんですけど、まさにそのだから竜について、その存在に迫りたいなと思いまして、竜を探す旅に出たいなと思いまして、まずその竜という存在が一体何なのかという、専門家の方がいるのかどうかわかんないですけど、竜の専門家に話を聞いたりですね。僕なんか竜ってイメージ的には、神様的な僕はなんかイメージではあって、いいイメージですね。だからこう平和をこう守ってる、平和の象徴じゃないですけど、こう平和の秩序を守る神様的な僕は存在なのかなとは思ってて、もしね竜が封印されてるのであれば、本当にね僕にその竜を目覚めさせる役目と使命と、力が本当にあるのであれば、そんな嬉しいことはないですし、最終目標はやっぱり僕は世界平和だと思ってて、何よりね、皆さんに楽しんでもらえる番組をこの YouTube 番組でお届けしたいなと思います。竜に限らずですね、なんかこうファンタジーミステリーとかにもですね、妖怪とかね、カッパ ぱの存在にも迫りたいっすね。であと子供って妖怪とかお化けとか気づかず見てたりするっていう話聞いたことないですか？でね、僕ね、竜が見える子供の話を最近聞いたんですよ。やっぱだから純粋な汚れてない心でいると見えるものがあるのか、見える世界があるのかわかんないんですけど、子供のね、その純粋な心、なんか子供と一緒に探検とかもできたらいいなと思ってます。そして番組のタイトルなんですけれども、なんかドラゴンクエストみたいなカタカナのかっこいい感じにしたいな。ドラゴンマニアドラゴンを探す旅通すぎる。ドラゴンパーティー、ドラゴンジャパン、ドラゴンピース、悪くないね。ドラゴンアドベンチャー、いいじゃないですか。ドラゴンアドベンチャー、まさにドラゴンアドベンチャー。あとなんか大冒険みたいな、白田純なんで白田の大冒険白田の大冒険、ちょっとかっこよくないね、あんまね。白田純の大冒険、アーティスト名はジュンボピースという名前でやらせてもらってますけど、白田純の大冒険ドラゴンアドベンチャー、いいじゃないですか。どうですか？白田純の大冒険ドラゴンアドベンチャー決定。いや、すげえ楽しみ、めちゃくちゃ楽しみです。37歳ですけど、一応会社も経営してますけど、心はもう本当になんか5歳とか6歳7歳なんかその辺で止まってる部分もあって、いまだにやっぱお化け怖かったりとか見たことないですけど、はい。そして何より平和な世界を取り戻したい。本当にこの番組を通してね、竜の存在に迫る中、少しでも、平和な世界に近づく何かヒントを得られて、皆さんと共有できたら何より嬉しく思います。
今日の撮影終わりました。今日は水着を3パターン撮りました。全部ね、可愛い水着なので、海にも行きましたよ。海でね、水着着ながらちょっとだけ泳いで撮ったりもしました。では今から皆さんでお昼ご飯に行ってきます。いいでしょう、回転寿司です。ではヤングガンガンの読者の皆様、これからも出口ありさの応援よろしくお願いします。バイバーイ。
I peeked in to say goodnight, and then I heard my child in prayer, and for me some scarlet ribbons for her hair. If I live to be 100, I will never know from where came those lovely scarlet ribbons for Fox went out on a chilly night, prayed for the moon for to give him light, prayed many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh. Ran till he came to a great big bend where the ducks and the geese were put therein, saying a couple of you gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, couple of you gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh. Grabbed the gray goose by the back of the neck, throwed a duck across his back. He didn't mind her quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down, oh, down, oh, down, oh. He didn't mind her quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down, oh. Old Mother Flubba jumped out of bed, out of the window she popped her head, crying, John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, crying, John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town, oh. Johnny went to the top of the hill, blowed his horn both loud and shrill. Foxy said, better flee with McGill, or they'll soon be on my trail, oh, trail, oh, trail, oh. Foxy said, better flee with McGill, or they'll soon be on my trail, oh. Red was the little ones, 8, 9, 10. They said, Daddy, better go back again, cause it must be a mighty town. They said, Daddy, better go back again, cause it must be a mighty fine town, oh. Then the fox and his wife, without any strife, cut up the goose with a fork and a knife. They never had such a supper in their life when the little ones chewed on the bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. They never had such a supper in their life when the little ones chewed on the bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. Bonzo, Joshua, 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 went to Jericho, 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 Jericho, and the walls came a-tumbling down. Jericho, 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 Joshua put the battle of Jericho, and the walls came a-tumbling down. You can talk about your king of Gideon, talk about your king of Saul, but ain't nobody like a Joshua in the battle of Jericho. Joshua put the battle of Jericho, 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 Joshua put the battle of Jericho, and the walls came a-tumbling down. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. 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 Joshua fit the battle of Joshua fit the battle of Joshua fit the battle of the walls came tumbling down. Joshua fit at the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit at the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit at the battle of Jericho. The walls came tumbling down. You can talk about your king of Gideon. Oh, talk about your king of Saul, but ain't nobody like a Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Oh, at the battle of the walls came a tumbling, the walls came a tumbling, the walls came a tumbling down.
Hey, Dad. Bring your dancing shoes with you tonight? Oh, I wear my low cuts continually. You never can tell where I might bump into Fred Astaire and have to lay a few new capers.
Say there, would you care to join us in a little tipsickery there, Andy?
Well, now, wait a minute. Where'd you get this kingfish? You've been hanging around with Dean Martin, hasn't he? Well, I don't know about the terpsichore. Is it trickery?
No, not at all. Not
No?
trickery at all. Matter of fact, it's a little on the early Shirley Temple style.
Early Shirley Temple. Well, I can...
Oh!
It's my old racket. You fellas like this as well as dancing?
It's working.
When did you work? Oh, now.
You a regular Arthur Murray.
Captain says I should smile more. You been dancing long, Dad? About 30 seconds.
Riding home.
This is early Shirley Temple?
Yeah, this is it.
Looks more like late George Raft. Oh, yeah. Who taught you this? You. Sorry, folks. Back to the gym.
up each time you fight it, just what you make it. It's tears or it's fun. Your neighbor's hand when you shake it, and the one who waits when the day is done. There's more to life than the hassle. A smile can make a home seem a castle. If someone's sharing the laughter and strife, then life is more than just living. 'Cause if you're living with love, that's life, that's life.
The Bing Crosby Show, brought to you by Mercury, now in the Lincoln Continental tradition, and by Mercury Comet, beautiful new edition of the world's 100,000-mile durability champion.
Look at this mess. Hey there, champ. What's doing?
Well, I have to apply the mean value theorem to determine where a differential function is increasing or decreasing.
Where have we failed?
Janet, I may not be much of a mathematician, but I'm going to tell you something. Speaking strictly as a mother, you're never going to get anything accomplished in that terrible light and this mess.
What's wrong with the desk?
I like to work on my bed.
Do you think Professor Zermatt reads in such terrible light?
Is he really coming to the university?
Yeah, he's going to work with the engineers.
And I can tell you, he would never be one of the all-time great mathematicians without a neat and tidy room. Fresh air.
Clean desk.
Good light.
Firm seat.
Clear brain.
Sharp pencil.
Now, isn't that better?
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost that one.
We shall return.
There's a rugged road that runs from Cape Horn up to Alaska, a road from the bottom to the top of the world. Roaring up that road where a team of comets shooting for the top of the world. 40 days and nights, those comets kept on driving from the bottom to the top of the world. Across the Andes of Chile, the deserts of Peru, Guatemala, Mexico, they kept on coming through mud, heat, and snow, as millions watched them go unto Fairbanks at the top of the world. Over good roads and bad, they were never at a loss, 'cause where the roads ran out, they carried them across, and they did it from the bottom to the top of the world.
You too can drive a beautiful 1965 Comet, exactly like the ones that blaze their way from Cape Horn to Fairbanks. Ask for the world's durability champion at your Mercury dealers. Excuse me, I'll see you in class.
Is everything all right?
Everything's just like it says in the ticket. One Atwater Kent radio, one vintage upright, one hot plate, one refrigerator, icebox.
No scratches, no dents, no broken circuits. The professor's very particular.
Well, what circuits was broken then is broken now. One folding cot, one filing cabinet, one armchair without arms, one table, and one professor.
Well, as a matter of fact, Professor, we didn't expect you for a couple of days. We were just storing your equipment until... I came on the truck. Yes, well, that's the scenic route, of course. Cheap, convenient transportation, and I am with my things. Of course, of course. Well, I'll just call a hotel. I'm sure they'll... I need quiet and relaxation. Well, excuse me, Professor, but... I must be with my things. But they're going down to the basement. It is a quiet basement. But it's dark down there. Good. But he can't work down there. It's dark, it's damp, it's cold, and it's crazy.
Oh, he'll surface sooner or later.
This guy's built like a precision machine. Like computers bring him their problems. But he can't work unless he's completely at ease. No distractions, no irritations, no pressure, complete relaxation. And that's why he's got to move in with you.
Give me an encore on that last line, will you?
Well, I know he can work here. This is such a live and let live place.
You mean kill or get killed?
Hey, you're my consultant. You know how important this Professor Zormat is to us.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can come up with a formula for a supersonic plane that'll eliminate the sonic boom, well, he'll put Colford University on the map.
Sorry, no.
We'll build a faculty club.
No, can't handle it.
With steam baths?
No, thanks. I had one.
Swimming pool?
Now you're getting warmer.
Handball?
Could be.
And squash courts.
Suppose there's always the attic. Wasn't this going to be a once and for all, do or die, fix up the attic or else project this spring?
Yep, last spring, too.
Well, now's your opportunity. Doesn't take much to keep the professor happy. Just use your imagination.
What do you think, Paige? Ellie?
Well, if I make slip covers for the couch and use the rest of the material for curtains, I could carry the motif of the bedroom right into the sitting room.
She's hooked.
Daddy, Willie wants to know,
What?
should he start painting the garage?
You tell Willie to bring the paint, the ladder, the tool chest, the workbench, the air conditioner, and the sewing machine up here.
Thanks a million, Ellie. You'll never regret this.
Hey, babe, keep it simple, huh? Nice and simple.
That's all it's going to be. Sweet, simple death. I put the couch out from the wall, which gives you the equivalent of a bedroom and a sitting room. I made these slip covers myself. I thought the material was so restful.
What is this?
Oh, that. Well, we never did get around to covering up those pipes, so I thought I'd make these ship's curtains. Aren't they sweet?
No.
I can take them down if they annoy you.
Good. So watch that turn, fellas. Easy now. Well, how's it look, Professor?
I thought it'd be fun to make it all coordinated. But try the captain's rocker. It's just marvelous for thinking.
Where are my things?
The mates are bringing them aboard. Done.
Turn it off. Higher? Take it out. You have some kind of heating unit? I require constant dry heat, less risk of infection.
Take it out, Willie. One heater coming up.
No, fellas, that goes in the storeroom.
Open it up.
But there's no room.
Right over there, fellas. Go ahead.
There just isn't going to be room enough for all your things. Is there anything else you'd like removed, Professor?
Just people.
I think I'll go down and get the heater.
I'll go to help. Well, I hope you're going to be comfortable, Professor. If you need anything, why, just say the word. We generally dine about 7 o'clock en famille. Tie is optional.
That door have a lock on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. Look at here. Inside, outside.
Very good.
Stay warm.
This is not whipped cream. This is Lucky Whip. New Lucky Whip topping mix. Lucky Whip looks just like whipped cream, swirls just like whipped cream, even tastes as luscious as real whipped cream, but only half the calories. Lucky Whip tastes as luscious as real whipped cream. Lucky you. Lucky Whip.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thanks. Coffee?
Imperial margarine has corn oil.
But isn't the news its flavor?
Imperial has corn oil added to other vegetable oils.
But this is new flavor, Imperial.
Imperial's always tasted good.
Now it's even better.
Impossible. Like I was saying, this new flavor of Imperial is marvelous.
New Imperial. Great new flavor. Corn oil, too.
4 days and he hasn't had a thought.
Bing, they're putting pressure on me upstairs. Our budget can't take this kind of beating.
I know.
Well, tell me, is he happy? Is he relaxed? Is he getting enough heat? What are you doing for him?
We live and let live.
Well, he's a very special guy. Maybe he needs some special handling.
Well, we do baste him now and then if it gets a little flaky.
I want you to hear this. It's an article on the professor. It's got everything about him, including the exact moment he made each of his famous discoveries. You know what he was doing when he solved the von Sternberg paradox?
Complaining.
He was eating a pizza. Doesn't say what kind. Now listen to this. When he explained the McDowell effect, he was playing the piano and singing "Do You Ken John Peel" with his coat so gay.
He's got great talent.
Well, now, hear me out. Maybe we can use some of this stuff to help him start thinking.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
By recreating the creative conditions.
You mean feed him Italian food?
Yeah. Get him to play the piano. Encourage him to do both together.
Half a dozen plain sausage, a half a dozen sausage and anchovies, and a half a dozen combination cheese, sausage, and mushroom.
Oh, please, it's too early in the day.
All I know is we've been stuffing that bird with Italian food for a solid week, and I don't see any progress.
Culver University is depending on Bing. Bing is depending on us, so we have to keep working on him.
What?
Good morning, Professor.
How's it coming, Doc?
No American cheese?
We have Swiss cheese, Professor.
No, I don't like Swiss.
How about a nice, fresh, frozen pizza with sausages and mushrooms?
9 o'clock in the morning?
Nothing to it. You just slip it into the oven at a hot 450 degrees.
It's really very delicious.
You must be out of your mind. A knife.
Take the whole thing.
Thank you. It is all right if I play on your pianoforte?
Oh, yes, please. Go right ahead, do. This may be it.
Somebody have maybe a pencil.
Pencil. No, here. Is this all right?
Ah, very good. I got some cheese stuck down in the piano keys. You don't want to get crumbs down in there. They start to smell. But not to worry about it. I take care of it.
What are you doing?
Can't a guy eat just because he's hungry? I got a right to sing the blues. I got a right to feel low down. I got a right to hang around. Oh, hang around. Down around the river. A certain gal in this here town keeps dragging my poor heart around. All I see for me is misery. Well, what's a good word, Joycey?
Not a sound. He's locked in his room.
Do you think that he's upset with us?
Oh, babes, we've sheltered and coddled and baby-fed this fella. What else can we do for him?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we ought to give more of ourselves. Make him feel like part of the family.
Sure, let him make a payment on the mortgage. I got a right to sing the blues. I got a right to moan and sigh. I got a right to sit and cry. Ooh, sit and cry. Down beside the river, I know the deep blue sea will soon be calling me. It must be love, say what you choose. I got a right to sing the blues. Why, Professor, how nice to see you.
Mr. Collins, I would like to sit if I don't disturb.
Oh, you bet your life. Take a seat. Any seat here.
Oh, Professor, not that one. That has a broken arm.
Oh?
This. Fine. There you go.
Dandy little model here.
That's all for now, Joyce.
But I have to practice.
You can skip it for one night.
But I have to make the marching team.
How else is she going to get into college?
Your twirling is disturbing the professor.
Let her twirl.
You heard the professor, Joyce. Twirl. All right.
How's it going, Doc?
Would you like some coffee, Professor?
Professor, they tell me that you like to sort of burst out in song once in a while.
Who told you?
Oh, just an idle rumor.
I am never idle.
Do you ken John Peel at the coat so gay?
How do we all join in?
Do you
justice. You won't even let a person sit. I go. Goodbye. And good luck.
Mad? Isn't I am. I've taken about all I'm going to take from that rude, nasty
Wait
man.
a minute, honey. That rude, nasty man may be about to solve one of the world's great problems.
Well, then let him solve it in somebody else's living room.
Professor, I've been waiting for you. I've got a math problem.
I don't do homework for children.
It's not homework. It's my special project. You see, the function has a continuous first derivative, so the curve is rectifiable. And yet when I express the length of an integral and evaluate that integral, I get a negative number.
Show me.
On the desk.
Well, for a little girl, you've got a pretty big problem, huh?
I'm advanced.
All right. Now, tell me about it.
Well, the answer always comes out negative, but that's impossible.
What's wrong?
Your ashes.
What's wrong with my ashes?
Nothing.
You know, it's no wonder you can't solve anything. You know what you got? You got a neat complex, and you got a clean complex on top of it.
I have to be neat and orderly. My parents say if I have a neat and orderly desk, I'll have a neat and orderly mind.
And orderly minds for orderly people. Now, they tidy up here. They straighten out here. They walk tippy-toe. They make for everybody a system. What? Where does creation come from? From freedom. Now, I can't speak for you, but for me to think free, I need a nice mess.
Me, Dad. I like slobs.
And creators are entitled to be slobs. Now let us look at your problem. You noticed in a portion of the integration, the variable is negative.
Want one?
Yes, don't mind.
If you have soft teeth, be careful.
What do you see there?
An extraneous minus sign?
Now, concentrate. Now, keep loose. Keep your eye on the ball. And be free in thought.
Did you break something?
This is very tasty.
Oh, but honey, you can't offend
Then
the
you
man.
can. You go on up there and check him out.
No, let him simmer. Now,
look,
he's
I'm
not...
not going to have him pass on this rudeness to my children.
Do you ken John Peel when he's far, far away? Linear characteristics must replace non-linear characteristics. X equals dr minus kf times y times r to the 1/2 power plus y. With his hounds and his horn in the morning.
Gonna ruin her eyes.
Only one thing to do when people get like that. Leave them alone.
Do you ken John Peel at the break of day? Do you ken John Peel when he's far, far away? Do you ken John Peel at the break of the day with his hounds and his horn in the morning?
The Bing Crosby Show will continue in a moment.
This is Sea Island, Georgia. Choice of people who could vacation anywhere. Here you will find the world-famous Cloister, a magnificent resort, where the red carpet treatment begins with a 1965 Mercury, chosen by the Cloister as their courtesy car for special guests. A new kind of Mercury, now in the Lincoln Continental tradition. A gracefully proportioned Mercury with meticulous coachwork and the most quiet of rides. Built-in air conditioning is just one of many luxury options that make driving this Mercury truly pleasurable. What better way to explore the ruins of the old historic fort or the nearby fishing village? Isn't this the way you'd like to drive? You can in a 1965 Mercury. Now in the Lincoln Continental tradition.
Do you ken John Field with his coat so gay? Do you ken John Peel at the break of day? Do you ken John Peel when he's far, far away? And he's off with his hounds in the morning. John's a wishing now he'd have stayed in his bunk, 'cause this hunting thing just ain't when he thunk. Looks like his hounds have treated him a skunk, and they'll be in the laundry all the morning. Well, everything in its place and a place for everything.
Bing,
Interrupting my train of thought?
are you lost?
No, I don't think so. Looks like familiar country.
Then why are you leaving a trail?
Because for too long we've been suffering from an acute case of neatness around here.
Bing, we don't allow but one genius in this household. Oh. Well, maybe two geniuses.
The Bing Crosby Show has been brought to you by Mercury, now in the Lincoln Continental tradition, and by Mercury Comet, beautiful new edition of the world's 100,000-mile durability champion.
A wake-up kiss in the morning, a good night kiss every night. It all adds up, yes, it all adds up to make the living so right. You've simply got to give each day so much work, so much play. And when the day is through, have someone you can hurry home to. The warmth of people around you, to share the laughter and strife. Ooh, it all adds up, yes, it all adds up. The home, the kids, and the wife. Yes, it all adds up to love, which adds up to life.
What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who bring the best to you each morning. A wide choice of cereals in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, the young man who next Tuesday night will be emceeing the Emmy Awards from New York, our favorite comedian, Joey Bishop.
And to my left, a young lady who had just returned from a triumphant tour, a one-day visit on Mother's Day with her son Peter in Deerfield, Arlene Francis.
And now our darling publisher, whose Random House, like Topsy, just grows and grows and grows. Mr. Bennett, sir.
And here's our fantastic panel moderator who can make the complicated explanation of a new story of great international significance seem simpler than a routine answer to a simple question from a beleaguered member of this panel. John Charles Francis Toohey Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Nice to have you with us again, Mr. Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Daly.
We also have some very interesting occupations on tap to give the panel some trouble. We'll also have a famous mystery challenger before the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after this word from Kellogg's. And now let's meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? The
Flying go...
Flaherty Brothers, is that right? Well, gentlemen, I think the only thing for me to do is to ask you to sound off. Will we begin on this side, please?
Garland.
Garland. Thaddeus. Charles.
John.
John.
Roscoe.
John and Roscoe Flaherty. All Flahertys. And where are you all from? Louisville, Kentucky. Well, it's nice to have you all with us. May I present the panel, the Flahertys. And now will you all join me over here and arrange yourselves around, about, and so forth. And do you all know how we keep score?
Yes, we do.
In that event, let's let the audience in the theater and those looking in at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that our mystery challenger, all five of him, are self-employed, and they deal in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Do you have anything to do with horses?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Am I safe in assuming that you do not play touch football against the Kennedy brothers?
You are safe.
Is it a service that requires all of you being present?
You mean in a group or?
Yes.
No, they would have to give you a no on that. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Messrs. Flaherty's, could I use your service?
Yes, you may.
If I lived in your part of the country, would I be liable to use your service?
Possibly.
In doing what you do, would you ever come to the house?
Good. Sometimes.
That would be a sometimes.
I could go to an office or a store or someplace that you are and get your service at the same way, could I?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Do you do anything that changes something materially?
Do you do something that changes something materially? I don't think
so that you would notice the change.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think here, with your permission, gentlemen, since the question was posed as change materially, we'll give a no answer, because I'm afraid that might be misleading otherwise. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mrs. Flaherty, when you are performing the service that I'm sure you perform so beautifully, do you come into physical contact at any time with the person for whom you were performing said service?
Yes, that's right.
Just a minute now. Bennett, we've had a meeting of the full committee.
I saw you.
And you guessed it, Bennett.
You're going to give me a no.
That's right, Bennett. That makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen. No physical contact necessary. If it did come, it would be accidental.
Do people watch you do what you do?
Yes.
Do they pay to watch you?
Yes. Indirectly.
Indirectly. I think that's a fair answer there. There is a payment made, but we would not suggest that it necessarily was made only to watch what was being done.
Are people better off because of what you do?
I think we'll let the answer stand that our guests think so.
Do you, oh, you're self-employed?
Some are and some are not.
Oh,
actually, the majority are self-employed, but...
You mean like one employs the others? Is that the idea?
No, it isn't that. I'd say of the 5 brothers, 3 might be self-employed, 2 might be in the same occupation, but working for somebody
But they all
else.
do the same thing?
They all do the same thing.
Oh. Do you follow people around ever?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Would the song, "There'll Be Some Changes Made," be a good slogan for your outfit?
I wouldn't think so. No. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
When you are purveying your service, would you be dealing with any animate objects of any kind, even though that isn't, even though there is no product involved in what you do? Is it necessary for a product to be there for you to do whatever you do?
Yes. Yeah, that's
to it with?
Yes.
Yes.
Positively.
So where am I? Are the products that you might have to do with of different sizes?
Yes. Sort of.
Well, we could say that at one stage of their interest in the products with which they're dealing, that there is an element of difference in the size of the relationship of the product one to the other.
I did ask you that, I did say these are inanimate products
Yes.
before, so I mean it's nothing live that they have to
That's
do
right.
anything to. Would it have anything to do with auctioning or selling of any kind of products?
Well, there's an element of selling involved, I would say, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass. I don't know where I am.
Bennett?
Just sitting pretty, kid.
Thank you.
Do any of you or all of you have to belong to any kind of a union to do the kind of work that you're doing?
No, sir.
It is not mandatory. At the same time, this does not
can be
rule
a-
out that union membership could not
be
be
used.
viable in this case.
Does your work have anything whatever to do with the law?
The law?
Policing of the law?
No, I don't think so. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work indoors more than outdoors?
Indoors.
Would you ever work in the home?
Sometimes.
And you would change something in the home?
Well, no, I think we basically said that they didn't change anything materially. That question was answered negatively.
But they made something look different, don't they? Or they make some difference?
Well, they felt that there was one point of argument here, but I think that on the issue of did they change something materially, we determined that the answer to that should be no as a point of information.
Well, when you go into the homes, do you talk to the people?
Oh, yes.
Do you give them any advice?
Well, this would be perhaps a result of just idle conversation, yes.
But they don't go there for idle conversation.
No, I would think that's fair. You know.
And you don't touch any people.
That's right.
Do you touch anything?
Yes.
Do you ask for anything?
No. That's 8 down and 2 to go. I'm going to give you 1 more minute, Mr. Bishop.
I think you guys got a lot of nerve coming here tonight. Are your services primarily for the female sex?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Do they remove anything?
At one point, perhaps, in your service, you would say they removed something, yes?
Well, Bennett has an idea. Do you repair anything?
No.
Oh,
No repair.
I thought it
10
was
down and
garbage.
no more to go. Gee, you never really got on the track of it because they all do the same
Plumbing?
thing, and it's Louisville, and we just passed Derby
Louisville
Week.
bluegrass.
Bluegrass, that's a very good clue, bluegrass. Does it tell you anything?
They're farmers.
Bartenders, that's absolutely right. And we had to take a majority count on the issue of self-employed because Roscoe and John and Fad have just opened their own establishment in the what is it? The
Essex House, the
Essex
Shamrock
House,
Bar.
and in the Shamrock Bar, the Essex House, and they're Other two brothers are in the famous Brown Hotel, right?
That's right.
What's the drink most in demand?
Martinis?
That is after water, of course.
What about that mint julep?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's nice to have had you all on What's My Line. I hope you've enjoyed being with us. Good night. You say good night to yourself? All right, let's meet our next challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? Nellie Winnick. Right, ma'am? Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Mrs. Winnick, and where are you from?
Decatur, Illinois.
Decatur, Illinois. It's nice to have you with us. May I present the panel?
How do you do?
Now, would you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score, Mrs. Winnick? Fine, then we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Mrs. Winnick is salaried and deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Joey Bishop.
She's the Flaherty Brothers' best customer. Is the product that you deal in something that any one of the members of this panel would be interested in?
Would be interested in, yes.
Yes. Is it a product for the home?
You mean by this to adorn the home or to be used as a part of the day-to-day operation of a household?
Or what else, John? Ask me another one. Maybe I'll answer you.
Maybe I have to give you a no in those terms of reference. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it a product that would ever come in contact with the person that was using it? Is it a product that would be on the outside of a person?
When they were using it, yes. Mm-hmm.
Would it be considered in any form apparel?
Would it be apparel? No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mrs. Winnick, is your product used by both sexes? Indiscriminately, evenly?
Well, I would say it would hard to lay down, you know, in specific terms, but I think the fairest answer is to say it's used by both sexes. I would consider it's possible one might use it more than the other, but it's used by both.
Is it a reasonably inexpensive product, Mrs. Winnick? Would it be used quite frequently by people?
I would say those who had it and had an interest in its use would use it frequently, yes. Mm-hmm.
Is it ever put down in a place that's visible in the home?
There are circumstances under which it would be put down in a place where it would be visible in the home, yes.
If it was put down in such a place, would it most likely be put down in the dining room or kitchen?
Yes, that's nice. Well, I would say that if it were put down, it is likely to be put down in one of those 2 rooms, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm.
Might the kitchen be more likely than the dining room?
Just having in mind the usual experience or the normal record of experience, I think perhaps the kitchen would be a likely room, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm.
Would Mrs. Winnick, this product then be of any use in the preparation of meals?
No, I don't think so. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Winnick, I'm going to ask one of those questions that I always ask wrong. May I rule out false teeth? Asked it right this time. Is it something that shows when the person is wearing it?
The assumption of wearing there gets you the no answer.
Oh, it's adornment, but it isn't worn. Is that it?
No, we haven't said that either. That's 4 down and 6 to go.
Apparel? What did you say?
No,
I got
do
a
it.
no on apparel.
Are we ruling out the fact that costume, jewelry, or anything in that category would be adornment?
We're not ruling it out. I mean, if you want to ask the specific question as to whether this product is an adornment to the person if used...
Well, let me ask you this, John. If I start to ask it and you reach for the card, can I withdraw the question?
Yes.
Is it in the field of costume? Let me ask you this. We have determined that the female would be more likely to wear it than the...
Is deadlier than the male.
No, and you're going back. It has been determined that it is not worn.
It is
You must remember this, yeah. And on the issue of its use, we agree that it is used by both sexes, but we don't feel that we're qualified to state whether one definitely uses it more than another, although
Is it perhaps a product that is edible?
Is it edible? No. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there something corrective or healing in this product?
No. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Sir.
Would there be anything in this product that might dispose of things like a garbage can or a wastebasket?
No. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
When this product is in use, does the person using it hold it in his or her hand?
When the product is in use, the hands are in use, yes. Mm-hmm.
Both hands?
Both hands would, I think, be likely.
Could this ever be used as a weapon?
No.
Not
8 down and 2 to go. Not meant to be, Mr. Bishop.
Tune in next week, folks, and see the new panel. Is it perhaps something that would be used in terms of cleanliness?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
May we rule out that it is alive in any way?
Mm-hmm.
Is it made of a material of some kind?
Mm-hmm.
Do you, would you be liable to put it up somewhere?
It is described as being put up, yes. Mm-hmm.
Put up, some kind of...
Put up. It has nothing to do with...
Wallpaper.
No, it's a material of some kind. Well, all right, let's find out what the material is. Is the material a paper?
Yes.
Often.
Oh, God.
Has Mr. Bennett Cerf got it? Is it wallpaper, and is this lady a paper hanger?
No.
Thank you a lot, Bennett Cerf, for the second time. You and your random house. Go read your book.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Probably
But actually, you were on the track putting up some paper. If you can't put up wallpaper, you'd think of kites now, wouldn't you?
Kites?
Kites.
She's a kite maker, Mrs.
No, actually sells kites.
Oh.
Sells kites. Yes, darling?
Sells kites
Put
for
a
the
kite in the
kitchen?
kitchen?
No, well, a youngster who is playing. I tried to tell you that, this is something that could come into the house, and you could find it. A youngster coming in from play with a kite would put it down somewhere in the kitchen. It's not barred from the house.
You run the sloppiest house, John.
No kitchen should be without a kite.
No kitchen. Not if we have any choice in it. Actually, Mrs. Winnick is a vice president of the High Flyer Manufacturing Company. One interesting aspect of this, Mrs. Winnick told me, you are remaking an order.
We have a repeat.
Have a repeat order from the United States Navy. The 6th Fleet in the Mediterranean has reordered on the basis of their original experience with a kite they had made that had a message in 8 languages written on it. What was it?
The United States 6th Fleet, Power for Peace.
And in the Mediterranean, the 6 fleets in the Mediterranean, and they give these kites to youngsters all over the Mediterranean. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very much for puzzling the panel completely. Nice to have you with us. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which the panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds in place, panel? Good. Well, you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please. Panel, as you know, the case of our mystery challenger, different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. We'll begin with Arlene Francis.
Is our guest in the entertainment business?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Mr. Sir?
Do you ever sing professionally?
Possible, yeah.
Miss Kilgallen?
Do you also play a musical instrument?
Haven't tried that yet.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Are there more than one of you?
Well, yes, you'd have to say that.
Miss Francis?
It's the McGuire sisters.
Right.
Are you best known for your club appearances?
Yes.
Mr. Seraph?
Are you brothers?
Well, Marco. Yeah.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you recording artists as well?
Well, you might say that, yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Would Gary mean more to you than a city in Indiana?
Thanks a lot, Joey. Yes, I think you would.
You got it, Joey. Say it.
The Crosby brothers.
I knew
It is indeed Phil, Dennis, and Lindsay Crosby who have struck out on their own. And I think one of the things that the three of you must be proudest of, they're presently at the Latin Quarter, as you all know, here in New York. And they had a very successful opening night. And I think the thing they're perhaps proudest of is that one or two of the major critics went out of their way to say that while they had the capacity to bring back memories of their very talented father, they could stand on their own as performers, and that they had done a very fine job of working hard to prepare their performance. So congratulations to all three of you for that.
Thank you very much. You know, we felt very fortunate with the critics here in the big city, and very lucky indeed.
I should think you should feel very fortunate and lucky and happy about it, because I never saw such universal praise from you.
We're also very glad to see you and Dorothy in for that opening night.
Oh, yes, we have to go for that.
Oh, Joey.
Where Joey was out.
working. Where were you, Joey?
I'll tell you, we felt a little guilty having given away $100. You know, we thought we'd better grab them quick. Make it up, you know, the deficit.
Well, just so that we don't let that stand on the record, we'll flip all those over, and the boys can tell us what to do with it later on. That's the thing. Well, I hope your good dad is watching, and congratulations again. And may I hope that you all have the wonderful, long, and successful career he has had.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, and thanks a lot for coming in. I've got to congratulate you on that panel. You certainly made a quick recovery after a little bit of a rough start there, and we'll be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. Joey, it's been great fun having you with us again.
Thank you, John. It's a
And
pleasure being
good
here.
night, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, and thank you for saving us from total disgrace, Joey.
Oh, thank you, Dorothy. And good night, Arlene.
Good night, dear. Happy Emmy tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Good night. Tuesday.
John, for the first time, I can tell you something I've always wanted to. Go fly Mrs. Winnick's kite. Good night, John.
I liked it myself, and thank you very much for being with us on What's My Line.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman.
This is Bud Collyer reminding you to expect the unexpected and some fun as well in the game To Tell the Truth tomorrow on most of these stations.
What is your name, please?
My name is Wilfred Deno.
What is your name, please?
My name is Wilfred Deno.
What is your name, please?
My name is Wilfred Deno.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Wilfred Deno and is the only one sworn to tell the truth.
Geritol, America's #1 tonic. Geritol, the fast-acting, high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast, presents To Tell the Truth.
With your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you, and good evening. This, as you know by now, is a game of deliberate misrepresentation, wherein four presumably smart people try to find out which one of three challengers is sworn to tell the truth. And now let's meet our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is John Cameron Swayze.
My name is Hildy Parks.
And my name is Hy Gardner.
I can attest that these people are telling nothing but the truth. these three people all claim to be Wilfred Deno. Only one is the real Wilfred Deno. The other two have assumed that identity, and of course, they don't have to stick to the truth. Now, panel, in front of you is a copy of an affidavit. Will you please listen and follow while I read it? My name is Wilfred Deno. I am married and the father of one son. During World War II, I served in the Navy as Chief Warrant Officer in the Pacific. Although my hobby is boating, my job demands a major part of my time, since I am the warden of Sing Sing Prison. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Wilfred Deno. These three people all claim, panel, to be Wilfred Deno, warden of Sing Sing Prison. Now remember, if you will, that only the real Wilfred Deno is required to answer your questions truthfully. Each of you will question until you hear this signal. At the end of 4 minutes, you'll be asked to register your vote for the one person who, in your opinion, is the real Wilfred Deno. And let's start this evening with Hi Gardner. Hi?
All right, number one. It seems silly calling a warden by a number. What does the name Clinton Duffy mean to you, sir?
I believe he's a warden in some other state.
Number two, what does the name Clinton Duffy mean to you?
Well, I've just heard it in literature.
I see. How about you, number three?
Well, I understand he's a warden. I don't know him. I've heard of him.
I see. Would you know whether Duffy ever wrote a book that became a motion picture?
No, I would not.
Would you, number two?
No.
Would you, number three?
I read a book.
You read a book? That's nice to know that a warden reads books. Number two, I would like to know what the population of Sing Sing is, sir.
It's approximately 1,800.
Approximately 1,800.
Polly Bergen. Polly?
Number one, I understand you were in the Navy during World War II.
That's correct.
Could you tell me, what is the highest non-commissioned officer in the Navy?
A chief petty officer.
Number two, could you tell me the highest non-commissioned officer in the Navy?
Chief petty officer.
Number three, could you tell me?
Yes, chief petty officer.
Number one, what exactly are the requirements to become a warden at Sing Sing? Any specific requirements?
Well, I imagine you must have acquired some experience at some time or other.
Number two, do you know of any specific requirements for being a warden?
Yes, you must come up from the ranks, starting from a guard on the way up.
John Cameron Swayze.
Number one of your predecessors was particularly well known. Does the name occur to you? Warden?
Warden Laws.
That's correct. He had a very definite belief regarding capital punishment. What was it?
Well, I really couldn't
Number two.
say. Well, I couldn't say.
Number three.
He was opposed to it.
Now, he also had a very definite belief about the convicts that came to Sing Sing, how long they should serve, the length of terms, the division between this man and the other man. Can you tell me what that was?
Well, of course, he did not fix the length of term. It was fixed by the court.
I appreciate that, but he had a belief about the division of convicts.
I think he felt that when he felt that the prisoner had reformed, it was time to let him go to get back to society.
Would I be correct if I said that he said half the men in prison should be free and half should stay in prison for life?
You might well be. I don't know.
Hildy Parks.
Number three, I see that your hobby is boating. Powercraft or sailcraft?
Power, small power.
I see. There is a sailboat called an L-16. Do you know what the L stands for?
No, I do not.
Number two, you were in the Navy during the war. Who was Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet when you served there?
Nimitz.
Admiral Nimitz. Number one, would you tell me what a Marconi rig is?
No, I wouldn't know.
Are you a power or a sailcraft man?
Power.
Oh, well, then you have every right not to know what a Marconi rig is. How do the front gates get open?
It's up to me?
Uh-huh.
Well, I imagine with a key.
Number two, if you were on your way out, who'd let you out? How do the gates get open?
It'd be open with a key.
Number three?
Well, it's difficult to answer that specifically. You'd have to be, whether you're going out as a discharged prisoner or just going out as...
We have no time to ramify. I'm terribly sorry, Hildy. We haven't. We have time now for just one final question from each of you. So, Hi, what's your final one?
Number two, I'd like to ask, is Lamarco, the convicted kidnapper of the Weinberger baby, in solitary because of fear of other convicts?
We have no solitary up in Sing Sing.
Polly, what's your last one?
I would like to get the answer from number three. Number three, how do they let you out of Sing Sing if you are a discharged prisoner?
You sign certain papers, you get the money you've earned, they give you a suit, an overcoat in the winter, and you're given a certain amount of money, and you're discharged and set free.
Thank you.
John?
Number 1, where is Sing Sing located?
About 30 miles from New York.
No, the name. The name of the town.
Oh, Ossining.
Hilly?
Number 2, how do prisoners arrive at Sing Sing? By what mode of conveyance?
Well, it can be various. They're brought up by the local sheriff, either by train or car or any place at all, under the custody of the local sheriff.
Thank you.
All right. Now it's time to vote. Now, without consultation, panel, mark your ballots and select either number 1, number 2, or number 3. May I have the ballots, please? Now, the team of challengers will get, of course, $250 for every incorrect vote. That means, of course, if they fool the entire panel, they can divide as much as $1,000. This is Polly Bergen's ballot. She votes for number 3. John Cameron Swayze selected number 3. Hildy Parks picked number 3. Ty Gardner voted for number 3. All right, the ballots have been cast, and I'm sure that all of you good friends of ours at home have made up your minds. So now, will the real Wilfred Deno please stand? Thank you, sir. All right, let's find out about the other two now. Number 2, who are you really?
My name is Daniel Magan. I'm chairman of the board of Diebold Incorporated of Canton, Ohio. We try to keep prisoners out of Sing Sing. For 98 years, we've been making bank vaults and safes.
Thank you, sir. And how about you, number 3? You won all the votes.
My name is W.B. Northrop, former justice of the Court of Special Sessions of the City of New York.
Well, let's see now just exactly what we had. There were 4 incorrect votes worth $250 each, which means a total of $1,000 from Geritol for our team of challengers to divide. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Hope you had a good time. Good night and good luck. Now let's have our next team of challengers. And panel, will you please listen while I read this affidavit? My name is Muriel Agnelli. I was born in a house just 1 block away from Arthur Godfrey's birthplace. In college, I majored in psychology. My husband and I recently started a business raising Christmas trees. Although my real name is Agnelli, I write a daily column on human relations, which appears in some 150 newspapers under the name Dorothy Dix. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Muriel Agnelli. Now, we'll get along with our next game in just... All right, time again now to play our game, panel. These 3 people all claim to be Muriel Agnelli, who writes a column under the name Dorothy Dix. Now, remember again, if you will, that only the real Muriel Agnelli is required to answer your questions truthfully. Again, each of you will question until you hear the signal for a total of 4 minutes, and then you'll be asked to register your vote. And this time, let's start with Hildy Parks. Hildy?
Number 2, where were you born?
Boston.
Boston, Massachusetts. What college did you attend?
New York University.
And what kind of psychology did you major in?
Just general psychology.
Number 1, what kind of psychology did you major in?
Child psychology.
Could you tell me the name of a gentleman who's very well known in that field, who's working at Yale University? I was thinking specifically of a gentleman who's working at Yale University and publishes a bunch of books these days.
I don't know.
Number 3, can you give me the name of that child psychologist?
No, I studied general psychology.
Number 3, what is a Rorschach test?
That's an ink blot test.
It is a what?
The ink blot test.
And what was the name of the man who invented the word association test?
I don't remember.
Number 1?
I don't know.
Ty Gardner.
How many Dorothy Dixes have there been? Number 1,
2.
yes. 2. Where is the original Dorothy Dix right now?
She's dead.
She is dead. Yes. What was the original title of Dorothy Dix's column number 2?
column on human relations.
That was the original title of Dorothy Dix's column. Number 3, what was the original title of Dorothy Dix's column?
Dear Dorothy Dix.
Number 1, what is your answer to that?
Dear Dorothy Dix.
Dear Dorothy Dix, now. What is the title of a song, number 1, once dedicated to Dorothy Dix?
I don't know.
Number 2, how far in advance do you get your columns to the syndicate?
Pardon me, I didn't get that question.
How far in advance do you get your columns to the syndicate?
Oh, about 6 weeks.
About 6 weeks in advance. Polly?
Number 1, where is Godfrey's birthplace?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. And where did you say you were born?
Baltimore.
You were born in Baltimore. Number 3, where were you born?
New York City.
In New York City. And you say you were born near where Godfrey lives. Where do you believe Godfrey was born?
About 105th Street and Amsterdam Avenue.
105th Street in Amsterdam. Number 2, where was Arthur Godfrey born?
In Boston.
In Boston. Makes sense. Number 2, how many years have you been writing the Dorothy Dix column?
5 years.
5 years. Number 3, how many years have you been writing the Dorothy Dix column? 7. Number 1, how many years? 5. Could you tell me how you were specifically chosen to replace Miss Dix?
I applied for the job.
You applied. Number 2?
I was an assistant to Dorothy Dix.
You were assistant. Number...
Sorry. John Cameron Swayze.
Number 3, you are the second Dorothy Dix, is that correct?
Yes.
When did Dorothy Dix die?
1951, I believe.
But you've been doing it for 7 years?
Yes.
Number 2, what was Dorothy Dix's real name?
Elizabeth Meriwether Gilmer.
Was she a single or a married woman?
She was a married woman.
What part of the country was she from?
She came from Kentucky.
Did she speak with or without a southern accent?
She had a slight southern accent.
What syndicate do you work for?
Bell Syndicate.
Where do you raise Christmas trees?
In New Jersey.
What is the trickiest thing about raising Christmas trees for sale?
Well, there's really no trick to raising Christmas trees because all you have to do is just let them grow and just prune them a bit for shape, that's all.
Number 1, how long have you been writing this column?
5 years.
When did Dorothy Dix die?
1951.
Okay, that's it, I'm afraid. Panel, time now for one final question from each of you, so make it a good one. Hi?
Well, I'd like to ask this question. Who do you get most of your inquiries from for advice? Are they teenagers or older women?
Mostly teenagers.
Mostly teenagers. Number 3?
No, I'm sorry, only one question. I'm sorry to call you on that high. Polly?
I'd like to ask them which one is the real one.
Have one final question.
Number 2, how many years did you say you had been writing?
5 years for that.
5 years.
John?
Number 3, what should I pay for a good 8-foot Christmas tree?
Oh, an 8-foot Christmas tree, if it's a real good shape, would cost about $10. That's what I paid for mine this Christmas.
I didn't get stuck then.
Gildy, what's your last one?
Number 3, do you know what newspaper in Washington, D.C. carries your column?
And none.
All right, panel, again now, it's time to vote. No consultation. Please mark your ballots and select either number 1, number 2, or number 3. And may I have the ballots, please? The first, as usual, is Polly Bergen's ballot, and she votes for number 2. John Cameron Swayze selected number 2. Hyde Gardner voted for number 3. Hildy Parks voted for number 2. All right, the die is cast once again, and I hope you folks at home have made up your minds. We'll find out whether you were right. Will the real Muriel Agnelli please stand up? Number 1, let's find out who you really are, please.
I'm Barbara Bayer, and I work in a travel agency in the Biltmore Hotel.
How about you, number 2?
I am Freddie Nakamy. I'm a housewife and a model.
Oh, don't leave before we tell how everything worked out here. There were exactly 3 incorrect votes here, worth $250 each, so that means a total of $750, which you will divide from Geritol. Thank you, ladies, very much for being with us tonight. Good night and good luck. Now let's have our third team of challengers. Now, would you please listen again, panel, while I read this affidavit. My name is Edward J. Crosby. I am married and the father of 4 children, including a set of twins. Part of my income depends on the weather, since I work for a company which specializes in making rain by artificial means. A number of years ago, I wrote a biography of my brother. The title of the book was Bing Crosby. I swear the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Edward J. Crosby. All right, these 3 people all claim to be Edward J. Crosby, who wrote a book about his brother called Bing Crosby. Now, you'll each question until you hear the signal as usual. This time we'll start with John Cameron Swayze. John?
Number 2, what's Bing Crosby's real name?
Harry Lillis Crosby.
What's the name of the golf tournament he sponsors on the Pacific Coast?
I think the Bing Crosby tournament.
Number 1, what's the name of that tournament?
It's at Pebble Beach.
Did he play this year?
No.
Number 2, did he play this year?
I don't think so.
Number 2, was he ever with Paul Whiteman?
Oh, yes.
Did he do a single?
No, he was part of a trio.
Who are the other members?
Harry Barris and Al Rinker.
What was Bing's theme song as he rose to fame? Number 1.
The Blue of the Night.
What about his golf score? What kind of a game did you play?
He shoots about par.
Is he better than Bob Hope?
I would say so, yes.
Hildy Parks.
Number 3, where do you live?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
And how do you make artificial rain? Is it war paint and dancing around a fire, or what?
No, the principle on which you manufacture rainfall is the introduction of a chemical concoction called silver iodide into a cloud formation, and this causes the moisture in the atmosphere to congeal either into snowflakes or raindrops.
Now all we got to do is figure out how to stop it, huh? Number 1, where do you live?
Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Cambridge, Massachusetts. Did you ever spend any time in California at all?
No.
Where does your brother live?
Which brother?
Mr. Crosby, Bing.
Bing? Well, he lives in about 4 different places. He has a house in Carmel, a ranch up at Hayden Springs in Idaho, one at Elko, Nevada, and a home in West Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Hi, Gardner.
Number 3, is that your own hair? Is that your own hair?
Yes, sir. I have a family failing. It's fast disappearing, but...
Of course, I don't know if any of the other Crosbys have any. Do you help bring rain to the east? For instance, several years ago when we had a drought, was your firm the one that did the job?
No, I'm with a firm called the Weather Modification Company in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we've only recently had some success out there. We got a little snowfall after the president came in on his inspection.
Did Gene Fowler or Pete Martin write a biography on Bing as well as you?
Pete Martin wrote one that was very successful called Call Me Lucky.
How many...
Sorry, hi. Holly Bergen.
Number 2, could you tell me where Bing Crosby's twins are stationed?
No, I don't.
Number 3, could you tell me?
I'm not sure about that. You know, they go into basic training and they move, and this has recently taken place in their case.
I see. Do you know whether they're in the United States?
I'm not at all sure of that.
Number 1, do you know where the twins are stationed?
No.
Number 3, could you tell me, are you Mr. Crosby's business manager? Do you work for Bing in any way?
Bing's business manager is our second oldest brother, Everett, and he lives up in Poughkeepsie, New York now, but he keeps his hand in the Crosby Enterprises, Inc.
Well, time now for one final question, and the first one of those will come from John.
Number 2, what one of your nephews, Bing's sons, appears most likely to follow in his footsteps in show business?
I think Gary, probably.
Hildy?
Number 3, I know that Mr. Crosby has investments in a number of concerns. What food concern did he go into quite some time ago that was rather successful?
Well, he has a chunk of a very nice orange juice called Minute Maid.
I thank you.
Hi, what's your final?
Number 1, what was the original name of the trio in which Bing sang?
The Rhythm Boys.
And a final one from Polly.
Number 3, what record company does Mr. Crosby record for?
I think he's the prop on which Decca stands.
Thank you.
All right, time to vote. So, panel, please mark your ballots for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. May I have the ballots, please? Polly Bergen votes this time for number 3. John Cameron Swayze selected number 2. Hildy Parks picked number 3. Hy Gardner voted for number 3. And I hope you friends at home have put your thinking caps on and done either guessing or voting, as the case may be. The facts are in. The ballots are cast. Let's find out. Will the real Edward J. Crosby please stand? Now, number 1, let's find out about you. Who are you really, sir, and what do you do?
I am Captain R.B. Moore, the commanding officer of the USS Saratoga.
Unless I miss my guess, Captain, the USS Saratoga is the largest warship in the world, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Oh, that's quite a responsibility. Number 3, who are you really?
Colonel Barney Oldfield, United States Air Force of the Continental Air Defense Command in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And the only thing I have in common with Edward J. Crosby is that I also wrote a book.
You are an author also. What is the name of your book, sir?
It's one called Never a Shot in Anger.
Never a Shot in Anger.
Available in great quantities right now.
How long has it been out of the market?
About 2.5 months, sir.
Huh? Well, I'd like to ask you one question. Apparently the panel doesn't have any, but I'm real curious. Are you, maybe you've been asked this countless times, are you any relation to the original Barney Oldfield?
I was named for him. When I was 4 years old, I met him, and he told me that certainly in the future people would always ask me if I was a relative, and he said there were so few Oldfields it was safe to say that we were cousins.
Oh. Well, I hope you've had... Yes, you have a question?
I'd just like to ask the captain one question. Is it true that Bing Crosby owns a piece of the Saratoga?
We'll even try to answer that. Let's see what happened here now. There were 3 incorrect votes worth $250 each, which means, gentlemen, a total of $750 from Geritol. Thank you very much and good luck. That's all we have time for tonight, so good night, panel.
Good night.
Good night. And until next week, this is Bud Collier reminding you to tell the truth. Good night.
Travel arrangements for To Tell the Truth are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships. To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS Television Network.
Question. If somebody came up, you could probably go to any country in the world, and if you said the name Bing, there's no doubt about it who you'd be talking about. He's one of the most outstanding performers of all times, and he will be hosting the Bell Telephone Jubilee with Miss Liza Minnelli live here on NBC Friday, March the 28th, 8:30 to 10 o'clock. On the 17th of March, Bing will be singing at the Dorothy Chandler Music Pavilion with Rosemary Clooney. Should that be a knockout night?
Oh, yes.
And he's got a brand new album called That's What Life Is All About, and it's a great kick to have him here tonight. Mr. Bing Crosby.
I want to wake up in the morning where the morning glories grow, where the sun comes a-peeping into where I sleep, and the songbirds say hello. I want to wander in the wildwood where the rippling waters flow, and go drifting back to childhood where the morning glories grow. Little touch of some of the old orchestras of the past. Guy Lombardo. That's the Clico Club Eskimos right in there. The Ipana Troubadours, great group. Carmen Caballero, I believe, or Frankie Carr, very interesting. Sheffield. I want to wake up in the morning where the morning glory grows, where the sun comes beaming in where I sleep, and the songbirds say hello. I want to wander in the wildwood where the rippling waters flow, and go drifting back to childhood where the morning glories grow, all the way back to my childhood. That's a long way, where the morning glories grow.
You haven't had anything that quiet on this program in a long time.
I tell you, with that kind of
That's
reaction.
a little shottish, you know.
You got to get into this business.
Oh,
this
I don't
is one
think
of you.
Think it's a permanent occupation for me, probably?
Watching you work, you make Perry Como look like he's taking uppers.
Oh, Lord.
You see, last night they conned me into, you probably didn't see it, but they conned me into singing, well, I guess I conned myself into singing Rhinestone Cowboy, and I was an absolute, we had fun with it, but I was a basket case before I ever even opened my throat to let the tones
the
out.
outcome?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to be concerned about that, because I know you got a good ear. You can handle it.
Yeah. We've not heard from all the districts yet, but it was...
You think you get some poison?
It was downhill.
Notes?
Gee, it is great to see you.
Great being on the show, Johnny. You know, after so many years, you've been 14 years at this?
We'll finish 14 years.
You're
Sure.
an iron man, really. 14 great years, too.
Thank you. Wow.
Keeps you out of the pool hall.
Keeps me out of the pool hall and off the streets and keeps me honest. You know, I wish I was still playing golf. I gave up golf, and you've got one of the great tournaments every year. You open the whole PGA season up at Pebble Beach, and you lucked in this year.
We
on
had
the
a
weather,
great
didn't you?
year. We had Hope's weather, and he had ours.
Just reversed.
Yeah, I think he deserves it, you know. A lot of fellas came up to Pebble Beach with mucklucks and windbreakers and parkas and everything.
And it was gorgeous.
shirt sleeve weather. Then they went down to Palm Springs, and they had the shorts and everything, and they like to froze to death, some of those players down there.
Let me pick up
Big
a little,
switch.
Got to pick up a little money for the company here.
What are you hustling on?
Oh, we got everything. Anything you want, we have somewhere in the archives here. We also have Mr. Ray Bolger with us tonight, Marvin Hamlish and Bert Mustin. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor. Why do I start talking like you as soon as you sit down? Silk Malt Liquor. Nobody walks Silk Malt Liquor like Schleich. We'll be right back to the show. Little thing here.